It was fake, and the Academy here in Hollywood has actually nominated Kyle Rittenhouse for the Best Actor award. Look, it was highly effective. The defense did an outstanding job. I think the prosecution is in a world of hurt in this case, but this was entirely fake. This is someone that has expressed zero remorse, Vinny, zero remorse to law enforcement. He's out there having drinks, putting up white supremacist signs. This isn't someone that cares about, his victims. Nothing he said in any of his testimony has reflected any of that. So good for him manipulating our criminal justice system and these jurors, but I don't buy it for a second, Vinny. Not at all.
Joseph Rosenbaum, as a victim in this case, not allowed to say that we're in the courtroom, but prosecutors want him to be a victim in this case. He's clearly chasing Rittenhouse before he gets shot. You slow down the video like I did, I see him leaning in and grabbing and going to grab the gun. The medical examiner says, yeah, it's very consistent with what I saw on his hands, the burn, the stippling. So was this effective? Did the prosecutor bring it home here in this cross-examination to make Joseph Rosenbaum the victim here and Kyle Rittenhouse the murderer?
Vinny, unfortunately, he did not. And you know me, I'm pro-prosecution. I think Rittenhouse is guilty. I don't think we're going to get there in this case. For the reasons that you mentioned, prosecutor overplayed his hand. The evidence doesn't show that that Rittenhouse was chasing Rosenbaum. The medical examiner was terrible. I mean, the evidence came out that Rosenbaum grabbed for the gun. And, the prosecutor in opening statement said that Rosenbaum was shot in the back. That's the type of thing that you hear when law enforcement shoots someone. Well, no, he was facing Rittenhouse when at least the initial shot was fired, and then he twisted and turned and was shot in the back. So really ineffective cross-examination by the prosecution here. I think the best they can hope for now is some sort of compromised verdict, manslaughter. I don't think they're going to get to murder, unfortunately, in this case.
Day one and day two of prosecutor school for me, they told us, don't go near the defendant's silence ever in front of the jury. And then to specifically talk about something the judge specifically ruled you cannot talk about?
Vinny, we're seeing a desperate prosecutor who is losing. And it's just that simple. Now, the constitutional violation, that's clear error, in my opinion. That's grounds for a mistrial. Now, maybe, like Eklund said, maybe he wants to do over a mistrial without prejudice. Obviously, the defense is asking for a mistrial with prejudice.
Explain the difference, Neama. Explain the difference.
Okay.
Yeah, if the case is dismissed with prejudice, the prosecution can't refile it. That's it. It's over. But your typical mistrial is without prejudice. That means you start all over, you pick a new jury, opening statements, everything. Essentially like when the jury hangs.
But if you're a prosecutor and you're doing it on purpose, you are dancing on the fire of this case being dismissed with prejudice, and it's over. Yeah. He never gets tried again, and possible contempt charges against the prosecutor. This is serious stuff.
Well, it's serious. It's a legal violation. It's an ethical violation. It's a big problem. I mean, you cannot, under any circumstances, even allude to defendant's constitutional privilege, absolute privilege to remain silent. So I agree with everyone on the panel on that. Now, going to the evidence, look, I mean, I know this judge, by the way, I think is pro-defense. I'll put it out there. He seemed to just assume it was propensity evidence. It is more of a gray area, in my opinion. It is clear impeachment. He's talking about how he would never use deadly force to defend properly. Clearly, he's made inconsistent statements in that regard. And normally you get leave of court. You don't just blow through a motion and eliminate. But it's not so black and white like the constitutional violation is, in my opinion, Vinny. Vinny, I always have an explanation from the prosecution, but I have zero here. I mean, first they overcharged this case, charging the curfew violation, not putting on evidence of it, spending all this time on the lack of a driver's license. I mean, come on, this is a murder case. What are you doing? I mean, this is just one of many, many mistakes today.